At Christmas, while I was giving gifts to my nephews, my sister recorded me and sent video on Facebook. "Look at this fool, he gives my children cheap toys." My mom replied her, "He was born cheap, he will die cheap." I just left. I didn't talk to them for 2 months until today. They came begged me for help. There was no better time for revenge than now. That was 2 months ago, just before Christmas. I'd been saving for a while, nothing big, just putting some money away whenever I could. My plan was to get some decent presents for my nephews. I've always tried to be the solid uncle. I don't have any kids of my own, but I like being around them, and I actually enjoy picking out things that they'll be excited about. I went to a few different stores and found a remote control truck, a mini tool set with lights and sounds, and a Lego-style construction set. None of it was top shelf, but it was decent stuff. I even bought wrapping paper with little reindeer and snowflakes on it, taking the time to do it right. The whole drive over, I kept picturing their faces when they opened the presents. I arrived at my sister's house around 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve. She was already posting stories on Instagram, cheesy music, wine glass in hand, that fake influencer energy she does when she has an audience. Her husband wasn't there, which I didn't think much of. The boys were already bouncing off the walls from the sugar and Santa hype. When I walked in with the bag of presents, they ran right at me. They immediately tore into the presents. Big smiles, loud noises, chaos in the best way. They were happy. I thought that was all that mattered. My sister was in the corner filming something with her phone. I figured she was just capturing the moment for her page, maybe showing how happy the kids were. I wasn't paying attention. My mom was there too, drinking her boxed wine and pretending to be emotionally invested in the evening. No one said anything that night. No strange energy. I stayed maybe an hour or two, ate a plate of food, watched a cartoon the kids put on, then left when the snow started to pick up again. It felt like a regular Christmas Eve. Until the next morning. I was scrolling through Facebook in bed, half awake, and I saw a video my sister had posted. It was me giving the boys their presents. She zoomed in on the wrapping paper, the toys, everything. Her caption said, "Look at this idiot, he's giving my kids cheap toys." SMH face with tears of joy. It had likes. Comments. Her friends laughed about it. One of them actually wrote, "You should have told him to keep that Dollar Tree crap." And then I saw the comment that ended it all. My mom had replied under the post, "He was born cheap, he will die cheap." I stared at the screen for a good 5 minutes, just reading it over and over. It wasn't a joke. No one said, "Too far." No one defended me. That was the part that got me. They didn't even feel the need to hide it. I didn't react. I didn't comment. I didn't even delete it. I just got up, made coffee, and went about my day. After that, I stopped showing up. I missed New Year's, ignored their messages, didn't return their calls. My sister tried to tag me in a meme a few weeks later, and I just removed the tag and moved on. I thought that was the end of it. We were drifting apart, maybe for good. And honestly, I was okay with that. I was at peace for the first time in years. But then, 2 weeks ago, they showed up at my door. It was a Sunday morning, 2 weeks after that Christmas garbage, and I was halfway through a grocery list when someone started knocking on my door like they were collecting rent. I looked through the peephole and just stared for a second. My sister. Standing there with her youngest in a puffy Spider-Man jacket, holding a half-empty juice box, and my mom right behind her, holding her purse like she was about to go to church. I opened the door but said nothing. I just stepped aside and let them in. The kid ran in like it was his house, dropped on my couch, and started flipping through Netflix. My sister gave the place a quick once-over, like she was judging whether or not I had money based on the furniture. My mom sat on the edge of a chair, stiff and silent. Then my sister started talking. Said she wanted to reach out. That she missed having me around. That things had been complicated. Then she dropped it her husband had left 2 weeks ago. Just came home from work one day, packed a bag, and was gone by morning. No note, no explanation, just his name taken off the lease and the joint checking account emptied. She tried to play it cool, but I could tell she was upset. Then she hit me with it. Said she needed help paying some bills, groceries, rent, phone, whatever I could swing. Nothing crazy, she said. Just until she figured things out. Then she added something that actually made me laugh, but not out loud. She looked at me and said, "You know, you've always been my favorite brother. I'm her only brother. My mom finally spoke. She said they were trying to move forward as a family, to heal and not live in the past. That part almost got to me. Not because I believed her, but because it was so tone-deaf that it was kind of impressive. I didn't bring up the Facebook video. I didn't bring up the comment. I didn't ask why they waited until they needed something. I just nodded. Said I'd help. Said I'd bring some groceries over the next day. Told her I'd check on her car too, since it had apparently been sitting in the driveway for weeks with a broken starter. She stood up, gave me a weird little hug, and said she knew I'd make it. That's what family does. After they left, I sat on the couch for a while and thought about all the years I'd bent over backwards for them. Every time I lent money, gave rides, fixed things. Every time I'd shown up because no one else would. And somehow, in their eyes, I was still a joke. So I went to work. That afternoon, I ordered groceries to be delivered to their house, just like I promised. But I made sure that everything I picked out was completely useless. 16 cans of anchovies. 12 bags of frozen okra. Vegan mayonnaise. Sardine spread. Enough white bread to fill a pantry and go stale before they were halfway through. All prepaid, delivered early the next morning. No note, no explanation. Then I made a few phone calls. I knew a guy who worked at a salvage yard. We used to play cards together at this dive bar before he got clean. I called in an old favor. Told him about my sister's broken down car, gave him the address, and said I needed it gone. Not just towed gone. He didn't ask any questions. The next morning, a tow truck pulled up to her house around 7 a.m. took the car. Hooked it up and left. She called me 2 hours later in a panic. Did you send someone to pick up my car? I texted back. Yeah. It should be in the shop. I'll get back to you. I didn't. That same day, I transferred $5 to her Venmo with a note. Just until you get back on your feet. Favorite bro. She didn't respond. The next day, my mom sent me a message. Just one word. Why? She didn't deserve an answer. But I gave her one anyway. I wrote back. I was born cheap. Remember? And that was just the warm-up. After the groceries and the car, I expected some noise. A confrontation, maybe a guilt trip. But for 2 days silence. Nothing from my sister, not a single message. Not even a passive-aggressive meme, which was her go-to when she wanted to be petty but avoid an actual conversation. Then, on the third day, I got a text. Did you really have my car crushed? Seriously, Mike? You think that's funny? I didn't reply. I was busy printing flyers. Let me explain. Back when her husband was still around, she started this little side business baking at home. Cakes, cupcakes, brownies? She branded it as this. Mom owns small business. On social media. She even made a pastel pink logo and took fake lifestyle photos for Instagram, pretending she was baking every day for passion. The truth was, half the stuff was boxed mix, and she only did it when she needed quick cash. Still, she had a small following in the neighborhood. Soccer moms and teachers who thought she was sweet and wholesome. I made about 100 flyers. Cheap, black and white, no design. Just bold text. Warning, do not buy from this woman. Bakes in unsanitary conditions. Cockroaches in kitchen. Reuses spoiled ingredients. Multiple customers have reported food poisoning. More info at Real Truth Bakes. Then I created a burner Instagram account with that name. I uploaded some photos I had from a few years ago: dirty countertops, mold in the fridge, a pan with something green growing in it. All from her old apartment before she moved. None of it recent, but all of it real. I posted everything. Tagged her business page. Tagged some of her customers. Then I took the stack of flyers and handed them out all over her neighborhood on a Saturday morning. Put some on grocery store bulletin boards. Slipped some into mailboxes. Taped one to the door of her building. By Monday, her Instagram page was locked. Comments flooded in. Her baking business disappeared. Moms unfollowed her. The school didn't renew her booth for the spring fair. But she wasn't done. A few years ago, she'd begged me to co-sign a small business loan so she could officially start her baking thing. She said she couldn't get approved on her own. I told her no. My credit wasn't perfect, and I wasn't going to risk it. She ended up asking her husband instead, and he said yes. The bank approved it under both their names. When he left, she assumed the loan would just dissolve with him. It didn't. I dug up the loan information through some old emails I had access to when I helped her fill out her first application. I forwarded the collection notices 3 months overdue to her workplace's human resources department. She called me 5 times that day. I didn't answer once. Then she left me a crying voicemail, saying she had no idea I hated her so much, that she didn't mean what she said on Facebook, that things had just gotten out of hand. I didn't delete the voicemail. I forwarded it to her landlord. Why did I do that? Because I'd heard her brag once drunk about not disclosing her full income from the baking gig when she applied for a reduced rent. She said the landlord was clueless. Now she was month to month. A polite email with this audio clip and a note about possible undeclared income? Boom. Lease review. 3 days later, she messaged me again. You've made your point. Can we please just stop now? This is cruel. I almost stopped there. Almost. But then something happened that changed everything. My mom showed up at work. I saw her standing outside my office as I was leaving for lunch. My mom. Arms crossed, a purse hanging awkwardly from her shoulder, sunglasses too big for her face, like she was trying to look casual or important, maybe both. I hadn't spoken to her since the grocery store stunt or the car situation. Certainly not since the flyers or the collections. I figured if anyone had the guts to show up uninvited, it would be her. I walked right past her at first, didn't say a word, just wanted to see if she flinched. She didn't. She just followed me like we were on some kind of family outing. I finally stopped and turned around and said we could talk across the street. We sat in a little coffee shop 2 blocks away, the kind of place where the tables are too small and everyone pretends not to hear your conversation. She skipped the pleasantries. No. How are you? No. It's been a while. She didn't even bother to ask about my job, my life, nothing. She went straight for it. I think it's time to stop this little game with your sister. I just blinked. She's had a hard enough time. You've made your point. But you can't destroy a family just to make yourself feel better. And then, just like that, she asked me to co-sign a personal loan. Not for her. For my sister. Said it wasn't much. Said it would just help cover the first month's rent on a new place. Maybe a down payment on a car. Get her boys settled in. I asked her why she didn't do it herself. She didn't hesitate. I'm not going to risk my credit for them. That's when everything clicked. This wasn't about fixing anything. She didn't come to make peace. She came to protect herself. The more trouble my sister got into, the more likely it was to come back to her. All those years of side jobs, half-reported income, gift money, shady rebates, all swept under the rug to preserve her precious little pension. She didn't care that she was humiliating me. She cared that it was inconvenient now. I didn't say no. I didn't say yes. I told her I'd think about it. Then I went back to my office and spent the rest of the day gathering everything I had. You see, years ago, when I was still stupid enough to help out, I did my mom's taxes. Once. She had no idea what she was doing, and I stepped in like an idiot, thinking I was helping. She handed over bank statements, invoices, handwritten notes about cash jobs. I scanned everything. Kept copies. Didn't delete anything. Now I had receipts. 3 hours later, I made an anonymous report. Detailed. Organized. Attached files. Labeled every single source of income she never reported. I even included photos of her cleaning supplies from one of her cash gigs. Things I found on her Facebook. She always tagged the clients like it was nothing. Hashtag side hustle queen. I knew they wouldn't show up right away. These things take time. But I didn't care. I wanted her to feel that itch. That weight. That creeping paranoia every time someone knocked on the door. And it worked. 2 weeks later, I got a message from an old neighbor of hers. She said some official-looking people had shown up asking questions. Asking about work, money, past jobs. Said my mom looked like she'd seen a ghost. But here's the best part. While she was busy trying to cover her tracks, I was helping that same neighbor, an older woman named Pam, apply for rental assistance. She'd been on the waiting list for months. My mother had told her there was no hope. That the list was closed. That it was now impossible. She was lying. Turns out my mom had been helping people apply for cash housing assistance. Said she knew the system. Said she could get people on the list for a fee. She'd been taking money from old women in her building, promising results she couldn't deliver, blaming the system for delays when the truth was there was no system. I wrote everything down. Signed nothing. Just passed it on to the right people. Now she wasn't just on a list. She was under one. But the part that got me, the part I'll never forget, was the phone call I got the next day. Blocked number. I picked up. All I heard was her voice. Calm. Not even angry. You ruined us. I almost said, no. You did. But I didn't. I just hung up. That should have been the end. But it wasn't. Because 5 days later I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside was a picture of me, taken outside my building. And underneath it, in block letters, someone had written, "Want to play games? Let's play." A week before that envelope showed up, things had started to fall apart for them. My sister had stopped posting on social media altogether. Her baking business was officially dead, her car was gone, and the school fundraiser she was counting on pulled her booth without explanation. Her kids were now staying with their dad's mom most nights because the apartment was losing power every other day. She texted me again. Said she needed help. Not even for herself this time, but for the boys. Said they didn't understand what was happening, that they were scared, that they missed their old lives. She didn't try to guilt me, not directly. She just said it felt like everyone had turned on her at once, and she didn't know who to trust anymore. I told her to come over. It was a Saturday. Cold and gray. I let her come alone. She showed up in a faded hoodie, hair pulled back, no makeup, like she hadn't slept in days. She didn't even sit down. Just stood in my living room, eyes darting around as if she expected someone else to be there. She started crying almost immediately. Said she was sorry. Said she didn't mean it, the video, the caption, the comment. She said she was drunk when she posted it. That she was angry. That she didn't expect people to actually laugh. That our mom encouraged it, made her think it was just a joke. And then she said the thing that surprised me. I was jealous. That you could be good and not need anything in return. I didn't say anything. I just watched her melt. Then she took something out of her pocket. It was this old football jersey. My high school one. The one she stole years ago and wore like a trophy. Back when she used to brag that I was the only one in the family who ever did something. It was dirty, stretched out, and smelled of her cheap perfume. She held it out to me like it meant something. Like it was some kind of peace offering. I took it. Then I walked over to the fireplace and threw it in. She screamed. I ran over and tried to pull it out, but it was already on fire. I didn't say a word. I just stood there while she stared at the flames like they were eating her childhood. That's when the begging started. Full of tears, hands clasped, falling to her knees in my living room. Said she'd change. Said she'd do anything. That she needed help. That she couldn't take another day of this. That she just wanted her life back. And then silence. I leaned down and whispered something she wouldn't forget. You were right. I am your favorite brother. And I'm going to teach you what that really means. She looked up at me, confused, but I was already in the kitchen. I came back with a printed copy of something I knew she hadn't seen yet. A signed affidavit. From her ex-husband. See, what she didn't know was that he'd contacted me the week after he left. Told me everything. The hidden credit cards. The secret online orders using his information. The fake accounts she set up in his name. He filed a police report, then changed his mind about pressing charges for the kids' sake. I convinced him otherwise. I handed her the paper. Told her to read it slowly. She didn't get halfway through before she started shaking. Said I couldn't do it. That I would ruin her life. That she'd lose custody, lose everything. I told her I hadn't sent it in yet. And then I told her exactly what she would do next. She was going to go online. She was going to write the truth. About the video. About the comment. About everything. Publicly. No excuses. No spin. She'd call me out. She'd apologize. And then she'd disappear. No contact. No messages. No family events. No photos of my nephews. No nothing. I didn't want silence. I wanted exile. And the worst part? She agreed. Crying, nodding, whispering that she was sorry, as if that would erase everything. I stood at the window as she walked down the street, arms wrapped around herself, stumbling as if she could barely keep up. I thought that was the end. But it turns out someone else wasn't done. 3 days after my sister posted that apology, raw, messy, full of the truths she never wanted to admit, things went quiet. Dead quiet. The next morning, she deleted her Instagram. Her Facebook, too. I checked once to confirm, then left it alone. She did everything I asked. Word for word. Tagged me, named what she'd done, owned the fact that it wasn't a joke, that it wasn't a misunderstanding. She didn't just throw herself under the bus, she crawled under it and waited for the tires. The pole burned for a day. Her friends turned around. The sympathy came mostly from strangers, and even that was shallow. After that, she disappeared from the internet as if she'd never existed. Her ex sent me a text. She just said, "Thank you. It's done now." And I knew what he meant. The custody case was settled. He was awarded full custody with supervised visitation. He offered to let me see the boys whenever I wanted. I haven't left yet. Not because I don't want to. I just need the dust to settle. As for my mom, she lost her rent this month. After the investigation started, they went through her housing paperwork, found the undeclared income, the fraudulent assistance forms, and revoked her eligibility. She tried to fight it, but everything was documented. Quietly, with no dramatic eviction, just a final letter and a deadline. She's now living in a one-bedroom, sharing with a woman she can't stand, living on pennies. She wrote once, "You destroyed everything." I didn't reply. She was the one who lit the match. I just gave her the gasoline she left out in the open. But then there was the envelope. The photo of me outside my house. That line, "You want to play games? Let's play." At first I thought it was her. Some last desperate move by my sister. But something didn't add up. She was broken. She didn't have the energy for mind games anymore. And my mom, no way. She wouldn't waste a stamp unless it came with a check. It sat on my desk for a week while I debated what to do. Then curiosity won out. I took the envelope to a friend of mine who works in private security. I had him run it for fingerprints, check the handwriting. He owed me from way back. Said he'd get back to me in a few days. He called that night. "Mike, did you ever have a friend named Joel?" The name took my breath away. Joel. We hadn't spoken in over a year. Grew up together. Same neighborhood, same schools. He used to stay with me when things got bad at home. I'd helped him out more times than I could count. Loaned him money, drove him to court, vouched for him when no one else would. Then last year he asked me to co-sign a loan. He said it was his last chance to get clean. I told him no. He cut me off completely after that. Blocked my number, disappeared. Turns out Joel had been in contact with my sister. They'd crossed paths after he got clean and started dating a friend of hers. He told her everything, how I dumped him, how I thought I was better than everyone. She told him what I'd done to her. And between the two of them, they decided to teach me a lesson. Only Joel didn't know what I had already done. When he sent the envelope, my revenge plan was almost complete. He thought he was warning me. He didn't realize he was walking into a house that was already burning down. I didn't retaliate. I didn't call him. I didn't even care. Because here's what no one saw coming. I wasn't angry anymore. The truth is, I'd already won. Not because I ruined her. Not because I burned their lives to the ground. But because I was finally out. Out of their cycle. Out of their chaos. Out of their games. I kept the photo. Framed it, actually. Not out of spite. As a reminder. That sometimes it's not enough to walk away. Sometimes they need to see what it looks like when the quiet one finally stops holding back. Update 1. 2 weeks passed. No calls, no texts, no drama. For once, things felt still. I'd started sleeping better, eating right again, even went out with friends without looking over my shoulder. I thought it was over. Then came the email. No subject line, just an attachment. A scanned document. I opened it and stared for a full minute before it sank in. My sister was suing me. Civil court. Claims of emotional distress, defamation, financial loss. She listed everything: flyers, car, groceries, the fallout with her business. Even the custody mess. At the end, $25,000 in damages. It was desperate. Messy. But official. I called my lawyer the same day. Sent him everything. Her apology posts, screenshots, texts. He didn't even blink. Said, "We'll file a countersuit." Before we even got that far, she dropped it. No explanation. Gone, just like that. I figured that was it. But 2 days later, I got a letter. No return address. Just a photo inside. My nephews sitting on a couch, holding a card that said, "We miss you, Uncle Mike." No message. No names. Just that. I kept the photo. Because revenge ends. Silence follows. But the truth? That always finds its way back.